Thank you, Usha and team, for having me over today. Namaskaram to all the viewers. I must first thank my mother, Shamla Reddy, for introducing me to Ikebana and my teacher, Grandmaster Hori Uminant Narayan, for having taught me the intricacies of the art. So we'll start today afternoon. You've seen a beautiful demonstration earlier by Meenakshi Devi. Wonderful material. I'm going to show you the very basic Ikebana style, which will be there are a lot of people who are new to Ikebana, those who are watching. So if somebody new wants to do it also to start Ikebana, some very, very simple, the most basic in the Ohara school. The style we are following is the Ohara school of Ikebana. All schools are beautiful, but I think in Hyderabad we have a passion for the Ohara school, whose headmaster is now Mr. Hiroki Ohara. Anybody learns Ikebana, the first one we do starts with a basic rising form. So I'm using this metal container. I have a pin holder inside to fix it. And underneath I have a little rubber. It's a little tip, little sheet so the pin holder won't slide. So you can always plan on using that. See, I have a little rubber sheet that I put in. And in this, the material I'm going to use today is continuing from the last arrangement. We have heliconia again. So I'm going to use easy material from the garden, which you will be able to use. So in a basic pricing form, we have a material called a subject and an object. So if my material is a subject, of the two or three I have, I choose the strongest and the best looking one. This is going to be my subject. It measures approximately twice the width plus twice the height of the container. It's a very rough measurement, 2 plus 2. So anybody wants to try it over the weekend and get a prize from Sanskriti, also you can just try a simple rising form, twice plus twice. And the extra part you snip off, and always the snip is made underwater. Normally, always the last cut underwater so that air bubbles don't go and block the holes. So once you make the snip underwater, then you place it in. Normally, an angular cut, the material lasts better. Now, if this is my subject, I've placed it a little taller than normal, so it just looks very beautiful because it's tall and rising strong. So if this is my subject, you have the leaf in the background. It's very strange to be demonstrating and talking to a television. I don't see people in front of me. It's a little odd. So this is the subject. Any material can be a leaf, a flower, a dry stick, a twig. You have it rising up tall there. The next material we put in is called the object. And the object measures approximately 1/3 of the container. One, two, three, a rough 1/3 of the container. And it's placed in front of it, bending down about 45 degrees. This is the Hemelia flower. We have the heliconia with the leaf. This is a Hemelia flower. I've given it little support so that it stays easy. If this is my object, I'm going to take two or three. If I have two or three, the best looking one is going to be the object. The object comes out right in the front. And I'm going to group the three to become the object so that they're more full. I'm putting a little group of three so it looks more bright also. This is my object. So once you have the subject and the object in, then I put in my fillers. The next filler is another heliconia, and this is of course shorter. We don't have anything taller than the main subject. So we can have another one maybe looking at it there. It's very natural, like they're growing in the plant. We can even have it facing outside. And when I do that, if the leaf is looking too much at you, I can use it separately. I can remove the leaf and use it separately. We just have another leaf looking up at each other. We have more heliconia. See, we have a scale in a triangle. Anything you see forms a triangle. Any three material, this is very important. In Ikebana, everything forms a triangle. They call it heaven, man, and earth. It forms a scalene triangle. There's a lot of Zen philosophy and Buddhist philosophy behind this. That's why it's such a soothing and very calming art form. So if you want to think of this as a very, very simple arrangement, just three flowers and the hemilia will do. You can put in more fillers. You can make it, you can put in 5, you can put in 7. There's no limit. But there is beauty in simplicity also. See, I can add one more, make it 5. So this is all beauty in the eye of the beholder. Anything is good. I've added only 2 material. So for a basic rising form, your subject is placed twice the width and height of container. Object is 1/3 subject bending forward. And you put fillers in different heights. All the material lies within a little angle, like this is a little imaginary dome, which is about half the subject on either side. I can add in a little, one more leaf maybe on the side. And if the leaf is too big, coming much beyond the dome, I trim it a little bit. And just trim it a bit. Give it a little twist so it has a little nice fall, and you can have one more on one side. I still feel it's a little too big, a little cut more. Give it a little twist so they have a nice little curve, and this comes out on one side. So it is coming within the range of half the subject on either side. So this is the basic, very, very basic rising form arrangement, which should be very easy for anyone to do. And even if you're new to Ikebana, if you use Ikebana, you can use this with the simplest of material, you can use it with the most exotic material. If you don't have flowers, you use only foliage. See, I have a beautiful tall leaf, so this can be my subject. The beauty in that it stays for so many days, and then you just have an object, you have another colored leaf. So it doesn't matter whether you use a flower as the subject or a leaf as the subject, either one is okay. So this is the first one. Coming to the next arrangement. So let me move this aside a bit. Trying to use a variety. That was a metal container, and this is a container. It's like there's cork outside, the tree cork, which is surrounding it, and there's plastic lining inside, so you can use it as a container. In this, how you can use it in a rising form in a flat container, I can do it in a tall container also. Suppose you have tall containers at home, then the same thing, how do you do it in a tall container? In a tall container, we do twice the height instead of twice the width, more important, twice the height. See, I'm putting it head down, 1, 2, and a little bit of the width also. So, say about twice the height of the container. So that becomes your subject. The same thing. These are flowers from the garden. We use the simplest of flowers. And along with this, if this is the subject, the object, I'm going to use a little foxtail asparagus. It looks like a fox's tail, isn't it? It's called the foxtail asparagus, and they last really long. So this is my object. It's approximately 1/3 of the subject, bends down 45 degrees. So this becomes my object right in front. Once the subject and object are done, then I put fillers. I have another beautiful flower of the heliconia, whichever way it looks good. Maybe this side looks good this time. Let's try this side. If I do this there, I'm going to move it a little bit this side. That is my object. If the flowers are too close, I'm going to cut it at about 1/2 inch more. So the normal procedure, you must remember what normally we do is we put a bowl of water and make the cut underwater. That's the correct way of doing it. So the weather is reasonably good. I'm doing it in a cool room, so I'm not doing that right now, but the best way. Sometimes it's nice when they all look at each other. That's the standard way of doing it. The way these dance in the bushes, they're seen in all directions. So I'm going to use it in this direction too. See, that's one filler. And I have some more lovely asparagus that I'm going to use in between, forming a nice backdrop. Everything should be in different heights. The most important part in Ikebana, put things in different heights and different angles. That's the simplest rising form arrangement in a tall vase. So it will take you just a couple of minutes. So if you start getting patient, it will give you a lot of relief from stress in the lockdown period. So that's why we call it Lokebana, because you will find whatever you have and make use of it. So just two and two. Depending on your eye, you can add so many more things. Initially, what I had was I had a little bit of lily flowers. So I was planning to use this. They're also very beautiful. But when you see it on the computer on a screen far away, it really blends with the background and not that seen that well. So I decided maybe I'll use something else. So you can use these, or you can use them just as fillers in between. See how pretty they look? Just one or two flowers in between. Or if you don't have flowers at all, you're making them small and you have just colored leaves. So you can put in colored leaves. There's no end to the number of combinations. It's like cooking. You can cook for 100 years and you can make different dishes every day. You have one basic rice and you can make 1,000 kind of biryanis. So with flower arrangement, it's like that. You can do it in so many ways. So I have some nice green crotons, colorful crotons given by friends. I'm using these. See, just two of them. It adds a bit of, see, a touch of color, isn't it? So you have your subject, you have an object, and then you have this within the range. This is a rising form in a tall vase. And like I said, optional, you can use so many things. I had a little, okay, we have a little flower of almond, so you can put that in the center. So many ways of doing it. Now, suppose you're doing an arrangement for like your dining table, or you want a larger arrangement, and you don't know you haven't learned Ikebana, you just want something bigger. So you do similar ones in different sizes. So what I've done, I have similar containers. I have similar containers here. So I just put them in a line for it to become something. And I'm doing something like a rising in each one. You have your basics. So do something like a rising in each one of them. And we have asparagus. We have common elements. So it looks much prettier when you have a common element in each of them. And I'm moving this so it connects the arrangement. They don't look separate. This is something like a one row arrangement of the Ohara school. So these two I place a little closer and one a little far away, with them equal distance. And if you notice, this becomes just one large arrangement. So you want to do on a dining table only, coffee table, wherever you want to do it, you can do this. You can do multiples, and you can make it as large as you want. You can make it as small as you want. We never leave one. See, either I remove this whole thing and just keep it, add some more of these. See, another touch of yellow there, or maybe we'll do the yellow. Yeah, a small touch at the back. And for color, for the yellow here, maybe small yellow of the yellow almond. Almond is here. And instead of leaving only one, they always like company, isn't it? It feels very lonely when you have only one. So you can have another touch of yellow. So this becomes kind of a one row form. There. So you have a rising form, you do a small repeat of what we have, and it becomes a one row form, which is an advanced style of Ikebana. You have a basic Hanaisha, which is a rising form. You can do it in a flat container, you can do it in a tall container. In advanced Hanaisha, we have circular, radial, one row forms, and this has become something like a one row form, which we call a Narabu in a long container. The next one I'm going to show you, I'll have to move it out to make space now. It's afternoon time. You've been sitting for very long. I hope everybody's awake. So it's very important to learn the basic lines, because once you have that, you can, you can do so many other styles once you have your basics right. So the next one I'm going to do again in a flat container. Again, I'm basic in a rising form. I'm trying to rub the basic rising form into you, so you'll be able to do it so much easier. So for this, I have some very lovely banana. This is a ornamental banana. So you have these little bananas as you can. This was given by a friend. I'd used this in an earlier arrangement in another style called the Dungeon. So if this is going to be my rising form, I can do the rising form on one side. I call it a variation of the rising. Measurement of subject, remember I told you, ladies, it's about, we measure from the base of the head of the flag. It's about twice, 2 plus 2. I'm going to give it a fresh cut at the bottom. So that's going to be my subject. A little taller than normal, but it looks so lovely. And push it in firm. That's a subject. And before I put my object, I need to put another flower. See, this is going to be my second banana flower coming along with it. It's a beautiful pink, isn't it? So lovely, the shades of nature. I have some Legostromia, which is in bloom right now. And this, apart from your subject and object, you have fillers. So when you do a variation, you have some extra fillers over the water space. So when I put this branch, this almost becomes like my object. It's 1/3 the height coming out in front, and this becomes like a filler on the side. So this becomes an object right in the front, and it's lovely. It's matching the color of the banana flower. You get them, the banana flower usually in pink, you get them in orange. This has such a beautiful flowing line, and that goes over the water space like that. So I'm going to trim the other one off. And this becomes a lovely filler over the water space. And you can see the reflection actually in the water. You need to put some more water in it, but once I move it, then I'll do that. That's a filler over the water space. So you have the subject, you have the object, you have a filler over the water space. See the triangle? Anything you do in Ikebana forms the triangle. That's the whole basis of what we do in Ikebana. And along with that, maybe I can put one more filler. Let me put in my banana flower first. And the height is reasonably okay, a little trim. One more flower, and this is little cute little bananas. And I'm going to put the banana leaf at the back. It forms a little, okay, a little on the side, like that. The leaf is taller than this and shorter than that. I think I can shorten it a little more. The beauty of banana leaves is just amazing. And then I have another little leaf, which I'm maybe going to make a little smaller. Beautiful leaf. Banana leaves have such a beauty of their own. So I'm not hiding the flower too much. Along with that, and a smaller leaf with a fresh small one on one side. So you see, a little bit of the leaf. And coming to the flowers, you can add in more flowers. So when you see this, you can see one. This is a little bunch behind, but I think we need one more of the Legostromia. So let's add in just as a connect. We add in another bunch, which becomes the connecting link between the subject area and the object area. So this is your another rising form. It's a variation of the rising form. It's done on one side, and in this we use the beautiful banana flowers. And I know to me it's quite mouth-watering when you see something like this. You get hungry. Or sometimes I think there's such nice meat in the garden, you almost feel like drooling. So this is a simple arrangement. It's in a round vase. So we've seen a rising form. We've seen a rising form, which we converted into a one-row form, which you can use for your dining table. If you want to use it for your dining table, you make it a little shorter. So you can speak to each other. So make the whole thing look and make a long one-row conference tables and a drawing room where you have people sitting on either side. You can put some flowers and leaves at the back and make it multi-sided. All these are single-sided arrangements only. So this is the basic tree which I was going to show you. And just another small one. So your president, Usha, is very strict about timing. So we said, let's stick to timing quickly. Just to show you, something like based on a Rimpa style. See, I have these Karonda berries. So we have Karonda berries in this, and we have just some Syngonium leaves, and these are the daylily. So how you can use your food branches. So once you're tired, you can take the Karonda and make nice chutney with them also. So we have something edible with the banana flower and the Karonda. There's a little line. This is like, it's more based on a advanced styles. Once you know you're in basics, you can always play around with it without having had to do many lessons also. So this is based on a Rimpa style. And I think the Sanskriti and Usha very kindly sent me a pretty little vase yesterday. So I quickly put something together in that vase also. So I'll show you that one too. This is the vase, thanks to Sanskriti. Such a pretty one she sent yesterday. So what I did was I just had some dry twigs, which I put together because I wanted to see the vase, some Dracaena leaves, and I had this little, the Aristolochia, which is the Dutchman's pipe. So that comes hanging down from the branch. It's in season now. It has the same shade of darkish pink maroon, so it goes well with your vase. So thank you, Sanskriti, for the vase. I decided I have to start making use of it. These are just dry twigs, because once I got the vase yesterday, I said I must use it. And I took some Dracaena leaves, which are also, again, a dark maroonish red, which go well with the pink. So I'm just going to put a couple of leaves to give a little background. Again, as much as possible in different heights. You can twist the leaf to give it a little bend. A small one behind to go with this. And just showing off the beauty of the lines of the lovely lines of the vase. Just lines of dry twigs. This is a last minute addition because of the vase. And I have some Rangoon creeper or the Quisqualis, which have a lovely, very nice fragrance. And when we were young, we had the house where we were growing up in AC guards. We used to remove the flowers, make a garland out of them. You put one into other, and you have a nice garland. So it used to be like, smelling so good. So we have this Rangoon creeper and this one. See, just a touch of color there. Again, pink and pink. So the leaves are actually, even without the leaves, it gives it a nice, just to show you. So it has a few of its own leaves. Just a touch of that. the Rangoon creeper. They don't stay very well when you cut them, but they kind of behave a little bit. We had a nice heavy rain a couple of days ago that really helped with everything. So just a freestyle arrangement because of the lovely container that you had given me and that I wanted to use along with this. This is just the last one to show you. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure being with you and showing you the arrangements. I hope you've enjoyed it and you'll be able to do something very small and simple that you can in your house with whatever materials available. Thank you so much. Thank you, Usha. Thank you, Sanskriti. And to my teacher and mother again for having taught me this wonderful art form.